This video will show you how to put together this Patriotic hat Tealight holder, which is a free SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. So here's a little freebie from Simply Crafty SVGs. As I noted earlier, this is a free file you can download. It's one of many free files. This one is the Patriotic hat Tealight holder. So you can put a little Tealight holder like this inside of it to give it a glow. So it's not the easiest freebie that I have, but it's just kind of a fun challenging one if you're new to 3D. It's really simple, easy, simple, super simple if you just follow my directions. Tongue-tied today. So here are the different pieces. So there's going to be 6 of these, and for these I've already put some vellum background, which is where the Tealight can glow through. And these I haven't, so I can show you. And so here are the pieces of vellum, and there's also going to be vellum behind this. So I'll show you how I suggest to put that on. There's multiple ways, but I'll tell you why I don't put it on at the beginning. So this is the bottom of the hat. These are the top of the hat pieces. And then this is, when I say the bottom of the hat, at the side of the hat, then this is the actual bottom. So we could actually put that together quite simply. So let's do that, and then we'll go to the blue pieces. Okay? So let's go ahead and put that aside. Everything but, I'm just going to put those up there so you can see them. And you can barely see these because they're vellum. They're meant to be semi-transparent. So there's some there, so we'll be able to see them. I got a little dog hair there. So this one, all you do is, I'm using textured, American Craft textured paper. So all you do is glue it on the top of this, and you just want to line it up or on the edges here. So this hexagon in the middle is the same exact size. So it just lines up like that. I don't know if you can see it too. I embossed this a little bit with some stars. So it's an embossing folder. I used this Darice embossing folder. If you have an embossed paper, it's kind of a cool way to get dimension. And then this just goes, making sure that my texture side is up. This just goes right in the center, so there'll be a little edge around it. So we'll just glue that down. And I am using art glitter glue. I'll show you what the bottle looks like. That. I go between that and Barely Art is good too. So right now those are my 2 glues of choice. I have a lot of art glitter glue, and I tend to, because I know how to use it, every glue requires just a little bit of adjustment. I just have to use them differently. So I'm just going to go ahead and center that. You could make this smaller, by the way, but a little bit smaller. But the light may not glow as well if you use a Tealight that's higher than this. But you could use fairy lights inside. So just an idea. So if you wanted to make them smaller, so you could make more of them on one page. So with this one we have 6 red pieces because this is a hexagonal shape. And I'm going to go ahead and fold these tabs back. So I've already done that on all the other ones. And this is going to go fold back naturally and then fold up a little bit. It's going to go like that. Okay? So we're done with that. I just wanted to show you that piece really quick. I'm sure I jumped to the red piece. Not really thinking about it, I just saw it. So as I stated earlier, I have these little individual pieces. The reason why they're individual is because we want to place them right here. So, and the reason I did them individually because I like to hide the vellum behind panels. So you could omit this and put the vellum over here, behind here, but inside you'll see kind of the vellum glued. So, but if you want to save paper, that's the way to do it. But they're also good good part about it, even though I have it at blue in the file, is that you could separate this and make it like a pattern paper, like a pattern blue with stars or something like that, just a different color. So it's just an option. I like to give options because I know a lot of people like to change files. So I already glued these on. So two ways you can glue these circular vellums on. You can do it directly on here, just doing a slight circle around there, and just place it carefully, making sure it doesn't overline those folds. So these are all folded, the scores. So you can glue it here, or you can do it on the back of them. So I personally like doing the back of them and making sure I'm on the non-textured side, and then just placing it here. So this is again called vellum. I mean, most people may have been exposed to it, but if you haven't, it's V-E-L-L-U-M. So this is a clear vellum. So after you do that, make sure this is good and folded. So it's folded up here, all these tabs. That's how we're going to connect the red pieces, and this will be the bottom of it. So make sure it's nice and folded because it helps you to glue on these little panels. So now, this one I didn't put the panel on the back, put on that, so you can just go ahead and either glue here, like that, like that, and just line it up. So it should line up perfectly on, if you line it up on the bottom or the sides. And then, or do this. So either way, if you line it up on the sides and bottom, it should line up that star, even if you have the vellum already on there. And you kind of can see through it anyways if for some reason you didn't get it centered. So I'll go ahead and put the rest of these on, and then we'll move on to the next step. So now that we have these panels all put on, we can go ahead and glue this shut here. So we're just going to take this tab, add some glue to it. So you can add glue like there. Just be careful not to get too much over this. We don't want to get too close to that fold, so we don't get glue on the blue on the outside. Then I'm just going to fold it flat over. It should fold right into place. Just make sure that's good and glued, and you can see it just, if you can see in there, barely just, I have it just sized enough so it misses the star. So now we're going to just fold these inward, and actually you could fold them outward to put glue on them first, or you could reach in and do glue. So I like to do it this way just because reaching in sometimes it's not so easy. So we're putting glue on the inside of these to place that blue panel on the bottom. It makes it easier in my opinion to do it this way if you can. Just depends on the design. So now just carefully fold them in, and then place it on the table. Then I'm going to make sure that this is the place that'll be visible, so I'm going to make the texture side up. Just going to drop it in to get it lined up with one of the sides. Kind of get it lined up. And so I'm going to push in the sides as I line them up so you can see the hexagon is lined up in there. But now I just want to make sure as I get it set that the edge of the panel is aligned with this little inside tab fold. So you can see that still, we'll just go around and give it pressure. And then I'm just kind of pushing in on the sides at the same time. So you could use this as a treat box too if you want to, or utensils for a holiday that's like Memorial Day, or any patriotic holiday or occasion. So now we have the bottom part of the hat done. Now we want to attach the red part, but we need to put it together first. So I'm going to put this up here. So you see this is how it's going to sit. There's going to be a little red edge around. Let's see if you can see from here. We can't do it yet, but we'll just want to center the hat once we get it done. So we cut a bunch of pieces. So we're going to put these end to end, and the reason I couldn't do this because of the way the angle, couldn't do one piece just to cut one piece, because see how it's angled? I couldn't cut it because it would overlap right there. So we have to kind of manually put them together. So make sure before you start that you get a good fold on all these, and you want it to fold again. I showed earlier, but when you fold these, this is back and then it's kind of go up like that. That's called a valley fold. Mountain fold is when it folds naturally this way. Looks like a mountain, right? And valley is when it's inward like that. One thing, we're going to end up putting these on it, so I'm going to show you what it's going to end up like. The reason I say don't put this on first, I did this first for so you can understand what we're going to do and how we're putting it together. But if you put this on first, there's a liability that'll it'll be too hard, a possibility that it would be too hard to glue these edges together, because this will tighten up that that fold right there. So we'll put them on after we get and then you don't want to get glue on it either, on any of the vellum pieces. So you want to make sure you try to keep your hands as clean as possible. So I'm going to put that out of our way. So we'll start with this one. So we're going to go ahead and glue each of these pieces together. So the easiest, I think, is doing the big tab first. So if you line it up, I'm going to show you a couple times before I just finish it up, but you want to line it up. We'll go through the whole thing. I think a lot of people, if you don't know how to do this and this is one of your first projects, you just have to be patient with yourself and know that this is not always the easiest. And if you're familiar with this, of course, you can forward through the section. So the biggest thing I think sometimes is the glue and knowing how long your glue takes to adhere and how much you need. So be careful just playing around with your glue. I know how much our glitter needs, so that's not an issue for me. So we're making sure again we line it up at the top and then on the edge. So a good way to do that is to get your thumb there. Now I don't care if there's a little bit leakage around this piece right here, because we're going to put a white panel on it. This we are not going to put a panel at all. So I'm going to go ahead and get that set, and then the next one. So make sure that your glue, you know how long your glue takes to dry, so you know how long it'll take you to hold it, and how much, you know, how long you can wait until you glue it. So I'll continue to put these on. And if you do have any kind of leakage, I always have a damp paper towel, so it's just damp, just to get the excess just in case before it dries. So I'm going a little bit slower than I normally would. I'm going to pick up the pace. So you can know once you get used to it, it goes much faster. You can see the inside like that. I thought about making a less complex freebie this time, but I just thought this was cute, and sometimes I just like to play around, and this is one of those times. So you can see I have a little bit excess glue. Again, I'm not really concerned too much around there because I know I'm going to have a white panel, but if I had too much, just get damp. And wet glue allows you to move it a little bit too before it dries, which is nice because if you don't get it lined up, I may not have these perfectly lined up everywhere. That's what happens when you have wet glue. It kind of gets stuck. And good thing it was there, because there it's not hidden. And then this last one. So if you do end up liking this project, or if you like any of my projects, I have a lot of free ones and ones that are available for purchase. If you could go ahead and click on the thumbs up or like below, that helps me tremendously and I really appreciate it. And or subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. And if you hit that little notification bell to the right, you'll be notified when there are new videos, new projects, that kind of thing, including freebies. So here we have the last one. And this is a little fine tip applicator, and I usually put what I use in the notes of the product description on a website, so you know what I used. And over time, I mean, some of them become obsolete and maybe they don't make them anymore, but at least you get an indication of what a similar thing I'm using. And I can always help you if you want to send me an email. It's best not to comment on the video. It's best to send me an email via our website, just because I don't always get the notifications for YouTube. Sometimes I do though. So this is the top. So here we are, we're getting closer. So you can see what kind of what it's going to look like on the top. I know it's a little funky, but I think it's fun. So now we're going to go ahead and put the vellum on. And at this point, you can see, because it's folded this way, these little white pieces, they'll have little cut marks on them. And you want to give them a valley fold just to train them. I personally think that it's easier to put the vellum on the red piece first and then put the white on. So let's go ahead and do that. I tried other ways. It's because of this fold. I mean, truly is. So you want to do just a light bit of glue, so the vellum piece is not as big as the space. You can start at the bottom or the top. It's up to you. But just get as close to the edge as possible on the right. But it won't fit exactly because I wanted it purposely to be smaller than the white piece. And we're kind of folding it as we do it, so we're just kind of bending around to glue it on. And then this will go on top. So let's just do that. I'm just going to go towards the end a little bit. Just be careful getting too close to the middle, because you can easily get glue within on the vellum where you don't want it to be seen. So I'm going to go start at the top. See if I can rotate that a little bit. You can start at the top or bottom, but I'm going to start at the top. Line it up right here. Line it up right here. And then you shouldn't see any red pretty much through the middle, because I made that opening a bit smaller than the opening for the cutout opening here. So it'd give you a little wiggle room. So you just want to line it up where it folds right here. So let's do one more, and then I'll do the rest off camera. So we're going to add glue here. Get close to the opening, but not quite in the opening. Take your piece of vellum, get it oriented correctly. You can start at the bottom or top, but whichever you want, just start there and then let it fall into place. And scooch it over a little bit, because if it's over too far, it's better to be closer here, but it's over that too far, you're going to see it behind the, peeking out behind the white. Okay. So you could theoretically put it on. I'll do one more to show you that how you can put it on this piece prior to. But again, it's a little bit, it's just because of the bend that we don't want to do it that too much. So I will do one more, and the rest I'll just finish up. So there you go again, lined it up here and here. So if you wanted to put it on first, you could put it just upside down, make sure it's already bent. I'm putting it upside down, adding glue to this. Then it's slightly smaller than that piece, so make sure none of it peeks, or that it's within the edges, so nothing's peeking out around here. And just kind of fold it a little bit just to make sure that the fold is still there. And that's the reason why it makes it a little bit more difficult, because you can see it's bunching up there. So if you think that's the way you want to do it, that's the reason why you want to be careful, because it doesn't make sense for me to put a fold in this. It's just easier to do it the other way. And anyway, some people might find this easier, so I'd just like to show the method. And this goes on just the same way. And I just put the glue on this rather than that. Being careful not to get my hands on the middle of that vellum piece. So I'll finish up the other ones, and then we'll go on to the next step. So now we have this. So it's ready to put together. One thing I didn't note, remind myself to tell you, that you can leave one side open. It might be easier to do this next step. So if you're watching this first, that's something you could do, just meaning don't glue them together like this. And this one, yes, this one not. So this way, because you have to have kind of, I'm going to glue them all at once. So you can still reach in, but you see all these tabs? I'm just going to put them backwards. But some people might find this difficult, so I'm going to push them back like that, inward. Then I'm going to add glue to all of them. It's not a very big project. I know that my glue will not dry before I get to the end. Don't get it on the outside though. I suppose I should show you both ways anyways. So I'm going to do 3 of them. We'll do half of them. But that means you're going to have to reach in and carefully add glue to tabs. So if you want to do them all at once, you can do them all at once. I'd rather show you how to do only part of them. So it's a difficult reach. This is why I didn't think about it before I did it. So this is just going to sit like this. You can see it like that. So these tabs are going to glue right here and right there. Okay, so we're going to start, just going to place it on there carefully, get it in place. Then I'm just going to reach in, line this up to that edge, to that tab fold. So that's the very first one. So I'm going to go around now. I'm doing that. I'm just folding it upwards. So I'll show you really quick inside, if you can see it. It's folding up. I'll give you a better shot of it after I get these up before they dry. So I have 6 of them, so that's on number Got a little glue. This is number 4. Number 5. Again, cleaning up the glue as you go along. And number 6. So I'm just going over them again to make sure that I got them. And then that's still not done. So we have them attached. You can see it's from the side. There's your little hat. It's kind of a funky little thing, I know. So we have to add glue to the rest of them. So if you can see in there, these flaps, they're up. So now we have to reach in and add glue to the remaining ones in there. So if you can see, there's there. So there's 6 more. So I'm just going to reach in. You could try to do it from the side here too, if you had a fine tip applicator. See right there? You just reach up. You just don't want to pull on the ones that already are glued. So if you're going to do that, you might want to just, so you can go in. You want to make sure that they're secure first, but you can do this. I'll do 2 of them here. Carefully, not getting it on the red. So I do these 2. Have a little excess glue. So it is possible to glue them all at once and just go around really fast, but it just depends on the glue. So if I was using Scotch Quick Dry, I probably wouldn't be fast enough because it dries faster than art glitter glue. So one of the reasons I switched, because I'm such a slow crafter, that when I was using Scotch Quick Dry, which I really like, as I said, glue is not, it's something that it's everybody's personal preference. But anyways, it would dry before I got to the other side. So I have 4 more, so I'm just going to reach in, add glue, and if you get a little glue to the tip like that, I'm just going to clean it so it gives me a clean amount coming out. So now I'm just going to go around. See, it's kind of in place. It sits in place. That's the nice part. But if you find this is too difficult and you end up making another one, and you do the first time this way, what's going to help you is if you just keep this red open on one side, and then once you go around, you can just glue it shut. So I'm just, every tab right here, just going around, folding it up to glue on the back of this. So now what we've got to do is glue it to this little bottom piece. So I'm just going to add glue here. Not too close to the edges because we don't want it to leak out. And this is a little bit larger than this is, this hexagon. So you just want to center it. So that's why we don't want glue to the edge either. So I'm just matching it up, but I'm going around it, making sure it's about the same thickness, and just moving it while it's still, the glue is still wet. And then you can reach in like that, or you can use this is a chopstick. And I didn't add any panels inside to hide these tabs. I mean, I was expecting it to be more of a, either people were going to use it as a treat box, because the other idea you could do is put pattern paper. in here, if you wanted to make it smaller, you could always use, instead of vellum, pattern paper right here and here, or different color paper. You can make this white, you could make that a pattern paper, anything. You could change them all out, and then you wouldn't have a tea light inside. So it would be much smaller, and you could add little treats to it. So it's kind of a funky shape. Just I was playing around and I thought, well, we're just going to try to make it a little bit of a fun freebie, a little hat. So now, you go ahead and I have a color changing one here. You can't really see it from the side, but it glows a little bit better when it's smaller. But you could always use something like, let's see if I have a bigger one here. I'm just kind of rolling over. Something like this. I wouldn't go much bigger than that, but just to put it on a table to light it up. So that's it. I hope somebody gets some use out of this, and I thank you so much for watching.